Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel every day in the month of October. It chooses the horror movie and they discuss it. Today we're talking about the 1982 film Halloween Season of the Witch, which was directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. I'm your co-host Alec.
I'm Eric.
You know, this was a movie that I thought we were going to get closer to Halloween, or at least one of the Halloween movies, and this is the closest one we're going to get. And you know what? This one probably has the most to do with the time leading up to Halloween, as opposed to all the other Halloween movies.
Which is just the day.
Right. So like all the Michael Myers ones, it's like it either takes place on like the 30th and the 31st, but this one we get the week leading up to Halloween, just like right now.
Kicks off on the 23rd, and yeah, that's right around this time. Like we're just all in that week right now.
I
So
know.
Silver Shamrock's planning their big night.
Yeah.
What do they call it? What do they call it? The big tune in for the big surprise or giveaway or something. I don't know.
And I was thinking about that too. I was like, they're pretty vague in the commercials. They're like, tune in at 9 o'clock, like for the spooky event. And like, no idea what it is. But I'm kind of like, that would actually make sense if it were like Halloween time and they didn't really say anything. It's like, you're going to get like, we're going to ruin your year if you watch this thing. You'd be like, okay, I'll watch it. Oh, it's Halloween. It's fun. And then like, oh, wait, this actually kills you.
Yeah.
When did you see this movie for the first time?
Oh man, I've never seen it in its entirety. I don't think.
Wait, really?
I swear to God, no.
Oh.
This is the first time I watched the full shebang, and
Whoa.
yeah, I mean, I can see why people rip on this movie. Like it's a cult classic for sure. It's a Halloween movie, but it's kind of like a little tricky. It's like they tricked the people like, oh, dude, Halloween was great. Michael Myers, I'm the biggest Michael Myers fan. Let's go see Halloween 3. Like, how bad could it be? It's gonna be cool. And you go to see it. It's like, I feel like they kind of like local carnival duped me into playing this stupid game, and it's not that great.
Well, the way they could have done this correctly, because I know that John Carpenter and Deborah Hill initially wanted to do like Halloween the anthology, so every year's a different one, but they kind of fucked up by doing Halloween 1 and 2 with Michael Myers and then this one not having it,
Mhm.
especially in 82 when we're in like the thick of the slasher, revolution. So it's just
Oh
like
yeah.
it doesn't feel like they were intentionally duping people, but like at the same point there's never really been another film franchise that's kind of done that. So you would assume, oh, witches, Michael Myers must be something to do with witches, like, and that has nothing to do with them.
Yeah, I watched the trailer too, and I'm like, I could see why people didn't really show up as much as other movies. I mean, like you just said, a bunch of other movies, they're in the thick of like slashers, but also Creep Show came out in 1982, Poltergeist came out in 1982, Friday the 13th Part 3, and they all did exponentially better than this film did in the box office. This film only cost 2.5 million to make, made 14.4 million. That's a solid win. So
Yeah.
it's good, but like it's like, I just think they knew that the anthology thing wasn't going to work next time around because they were going off of the Michael Myers fandom,
Yeah.
and I think it was like trick or treat, and we tricked you. We didn't give you a treat though, literally.
It really, though, I gotta say, it doesn't feel like this was malicious or they were trying to like, piss people off.
I think it was an attempt, but the fact that John Carpenter did the music, which is pretty good.
Oh,
It's
oh
not
yeah.
it's not amazing, but he didn't write it. He didn't
No,
direct it, but he
no.
was a producer on it with Deborah Hill, the same people from Halloween. So it's a little bit of like this is a cash grab for sure. Fans know when they're getting duped, and I think this was one of those cases. I think.
Really quick, I just want to go back to the music because you're just mentioning it. Dude, it's so obvious like what a John Carpenter score is. It's literally just like dee, 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 dee. Yes. But I didn't realize, dude, in this one there are things from Halloween 2, the music from Halloween 2 in this one.
Yes, yeah, I heard that sneaking in there.
Dude, every single time like one of those like suited guys would walk into the frame, he'd be like, "Bing!" Like sort of just like when Michael Myers would stab somebody or something like that out of nowhere in the second one. Exact same.
Here's the truth, dude. Those guys in suits didn't scare me. Like
No,
Michael's scary. It's like,
no.
well, John Carpenter, he's not scared of Michael Myers. He's scared of like businessmen in suits, like telling them you can't do your movie
Yeah,
this way. He's like, I know what's scary, kids? Men in suits are scary. Let me
yeah.
tell you from my experience and how they mess with my films all day.
No, but the music, it is very reminiscent of Halloween and The Fog and, The Thing, all of these kind of like heavy synth. Dude, there's one part where Tom Atkins is running, and it sounds like a fire detector's going off. It's like beep, 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 beep. and I'm like, "I hope my, like, neighbors don't think there's, like, a fire happening."
Yeah, it was I mean, the music's it's nothing amazing. It's not the, like, the Michael Myers theme
No.
Halloween. It's a little like, "I'm gonna phone it in." I get that feeling, you know? And, like, the fact that they brought in Halloween 2 music is, like, it's not they're kinda phoning it in, I
Yeah.
think. I mean,
And then also
so
just playing Halloween in the background a couple times too, you're just like, "Wow."
yeah, they're really banking off of it, man. Well, here's the kicker too, like, if you go to look up the cast on IMDb, you see Jamie Lee Curtis is in there, Nick Castle,
Oh my
like
god.
and it's like, are they? But Jamie Lee Curtis does do, like, a voice of, like, one of the
Yes.
announcers or something, but it's like, let's not bill them as in this movie and
No.
trick and treat the fans.
Well, granted, IMDb is years later than this movie got released, so you wouldn't know who's in it, from
Totally. Totally that, yes.
so, I guess let's just get into the actual plot a little bit. So the basically Tom Atkins is getting divorced from Annie from Halloween, or they're already divorced.
Well, it starts off with that guy running and
Oh, right,
doing the
right,
the thing at the end on October 23rd,
right.
and he gets attacked or whatever, and it ends up in the doctor's hospital. What's his name? Doctor C.
Chalice.
Chalice,
Yeah.
and he's clearly a drinker, and he's
Yeah.
and he's clearly going through some deep ex-wife issues and kid issues. It's like, "I'll pick him up on Saturday. I'll pick him up actually, pick him up on Sunday." Like, like, you get that feeling so
Dude.
bad, like, he hates where he is in life, and
Yeah. Dude, he's just an alcoholic doctor who's going through a divorce and, like, literally wishes he didn't have kids or an ex-wife.
yeah, well, what happens next is that guy ends up in his care, and it's overnight too. He's not like a doctor during the day. He's night shift,
Yeah.
and that sucks. I think I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but then that guy comes in and kills him, and he's like, "What the hell was that? I've been doing this for so many years. I've never seen anyone come in and kill one of my patients and then kill themselves right after."
Yeah, light themselves on fire.
Oh, dude, it's nuts. And then cut to his daughter coming in, and then cut to the bar. He's drinking. He's like, "I need a drink from what I witnessed today." Overnight too, so he's probably exhausted, coming off his shift. And then the daughter comes into the bar and is like, "Do you wanna play detective with me?"
Oh, before that, the best thing ever that the daughter says to him, it's like, "Oh, yeah, the people at the hospital said I could find you here." And he's just like, "Oh, of course."
Oh my god, yeah, of course they did.
He's like, "I'm at a bar."
And then he's like he's got a couple in him, and she's like, "Do you wanna, like, play detective with me? I know you're a doctor, but do you wanna, like, solve this case?" And he's like, "You know what? You're pretty cute."
It's like, "You know what? You're 25 years younger than me. Why the hell not?" Like,
I'm
dude
yeah. I'm off there, like, the whole rest of the day.
dude, the best thing is
He's supposed to pick up his kids
I
too, right?
know! So then the next shot is, like, him at a payphone with, like, a six-pack on the payphone. He's like, "Listen, listen, I'm not gonna be Catholic. I gotta go to a doctor. Just shut
I
up."
have something going on.
Yeah,
You don't understand the night I just had.
yeah,
It's, like, the worst night of my whole career.
yeah.
Like and
It's
meanwhile,
like
his wife, like, hears in the back, like, "Hurry up, like, what are you doing?" And it's like,
it's like
"Who is that?" It's like, "Don't worry about her."
yeah. What hotel you're staying at? It's like, "Don't fucking worry," and then hangs up, grabs the beer, and runs off like, "Hey, sweetheart," and then they, like, drive away.
Uh,
Also, that driving scene, dude, what the fuck was that? That's just a bunch of
yes.
it's a bunch of exterior shots of a car driving with their voiceovers going. I'm like, did they not have the
Oh,
budget
yeah.
to just get them in the car together? Like, why is
You
it
want
like,
the
oh,
answer to that? They did
what?
not have the budget. They did not have the budget.
So
Very low budget.
so they just got Tom Atkins and the woman that plays the young girl to just come into a studio, record them talking to each other, and then they superimpose that dialogue over a bunch of driving shots.
Yeah, yeah.
That could never fly nowadays. You'd be like,
Well,
so
then randomly within that sequence that we just talked about, like, up to now, like, the camera goes to a TV and it's like, "A rock from Stonehenge was stolen today." It's like, "Oh, I wonder if that's gonna come into play in this film."
yeah, yeah, right. And then, of course, it's not mentioned again for an hour, and then at the end, it's like, "Oh, we have the stone." Yeah.
Yeah, it's us. We're the ones. I don't know if you caught that on the news earlier today, but
Yeah, so they go to this tiny little town, which is like, "Oh, this is like a little Irish colony in the middle of nowhere, California," and you're
it's
like,
like Willy Wonka, like Guinness and Dublin, like, it
"Yeah."
just that obviously, this town is Silver Shamrock, and that's it.
Right, yeah, it's a real place, apparently, there's, like, 800 people that live in that town, and they completely decorated it for this movie, which is kinda cool, it's a real place, but I was just thinking, I'm like, Irish people, whole colony of them in California, I was like, probably not the best idea, like, they're gonna get horrible sunburns, like, all year round, like, I don't know, I was just thinking about that, I was like, "This is probably the worst place for, like, Irish people or, like, Scottish or Welsh or English people that just moved to
Fair
California."
fair scare
Yeah.
fair skins, yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
god, yeah, you're gonna get burnt bad.
yeah.
I wonder why California, though, why did they choose that area?
I mean, it's definitely not the quickest way to get that stone from Stonehenge over.
No.
You gotta go through like, it's gotta hit the East Coast,
Yeah.
and then and then you gotta drive that shit all the way.
Dude, I would think, like, go to m
Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, "Hey, let's go to, like, Nova Scotia
right.
or somewhere, like like, where it's a lot easier to get that stone over here."
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, go to, like, Northeast Maine or, Boston even, anywhere if you need people, go there, but, like, California?
You think, like, it would be like a season of the witch, like Where a Witch Is, Salem,
Right, right.
so,
Yeah, why California?
hell if I know, man.
I know. Yeah, it's so weird. What do you think of the Silver Shamrock song?
It's London Bridge.
Oh, yeah. Dee, dee, dee,
London
dee,
Bridge
dee,
is
dee.
falling down, falling down, falling down.
Right.
I think, like, 30 minutes into this movie, I was like, "Okay, you can stop playing." And if you play it, like, play it for 5 seconds, I don't need to hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
13 days to Halloween, 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 13 days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Hurry
Yeah.
up, kids. It's, like, a little annoying, but
Oh, it's
as
very
as my dog is barking in the background, sorry, I'm mute.
yeah, I mean, I thought the commercial was pretty annoying too, but it is actually, speaking of which, because the whole time the commercial is playing, it's reminding you of how many days there are until Halloween. I'm really confused, like, the timeline here. Why did it start on the 23rd? Because it seems like nothing relevant happens for, like, a week, and then these title cards keep coming up where it's like Saturday the 24th, like Sunday the 25th, but nothing happens? They just go to,
Mhm.
like, the bar. It's like one of them is, like, him in the bar, and it's, like, the next day, now you're like, "Okay." Like, why don't they just start this on, like, the 28th, and then have it
Well, because
just
they
take
wanna show, like, they've been working on these kids and getting them so hyped for, like, the big event. Like, you remember
Yeah,
when we were kids, these masks must be, like, something big for these kids. It's like every kid is talking about, like, "I'm gonna be" it's like Pokemon, like, "I'm gonna be the pumpkin, and I'm gonna be Squirtle. I'm gonna be the
right.
skull. I'm gonna be Charmander. I'm gonna be the witch. I'm gonna be Bulbasaur." It's like these kids are probably, like, obsessed with these masks, which clearly you saw that one kid was so excited about it.
Yeah.
So they're all gonna tune in.
There's only 3 masks, though.
I
Like,
mean, there was only 101 Pokemon when we were kids, but,
150. What are you talking about? There's
oh,
150.
151, my bad. Well,
Whoa,
with Mew,
whoa.
obviously, but let's not come on.
That's a
Let's not go
ton of
there.
variety, dude. 3 masks? That's like, come on, come on.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah, no, for real. It's like, are these kids all going as the same thing for Halloween?
yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just like, every other person you see is gonna have that witch face. You're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, this isn't as cool, I guess."
I do think it's kinda cool that we're doing this movie now and we just watched Halloween Kills, and spoiler, it's in the trailer, it's not really a spoiler, but those masks are also in Halloween Kills, which is kinda cool.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like how they incorporated, even things that aren't even a part of that timeline necessarily. Well, I guess this one isn't really a part of any of the Halloween franchise's timeline, but yeah, that was cool. They included that. I do like that.
Do you think, Gordon Green's gonna do an anthology after Halloween ends?
Probably not.
Bring back Season of the Witch? It's like, I don't know if that one's gonna work, like
You know, but I'll ask you this. If they took out Halloween 3, like, let's just say they got rid of the words Halloween 3 and it was just called Season of the Witch and it was just a movie. What do you think? Do you think it would have been as successful or do you think it would have just
Or ha I mean, I think it needs Halloween in there just to, like, tie
Yeah?
it into John Carpenter and, like it's like American Horror Story, like, you call it Halloween Asylum, Halloween Season of the Witch. You didn't need to have the 3 in there, and that's kinda my take on it.
Yeah, maybe if it was just called Halloween Season of the Witch. So it's like, "Hey, this isn't a sequel."
That's what I would yeah, exactly.
Right. This is just one. Because yeah, this implies that it's a sequel to the second one, yet it has absolutely nothing to do with it doesn't even take place in the same state. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that's a problem. Also, just wanna just mention this. Tom Adkins, man. So he's pushing 50. He's 48 in this movie. The younger girl is 24. Okay? Does this remind you of another Tom Atkins movie that came out 2 years prior to this?
Oh, yeah. The Fog with, Jamie Lee
Dude,
Curtis.
he's like 25 years older than her too. So like, what was going on in the early '80s where people are just like, "Wanna just like have Tom Atkins like hook up with like a early 20-year-old and have it not be mentioned at all?"
It's like the this is for the older man. This is for you, this movie.
Yeah. It basically shows like this guy's a divorced alcoholic who's hooking up with young chicks and like there's no repercussions. It's like
Yeah,
good for him.
yeah,
Good for him.
and not picking up his kids, clearly, and
He's like a bad dad and a
he's
drunk.
playing he's a doctor, you shouldn't be playing detective. You should be like, "You know what? If something really bad's going on, you need me to go on record, I'll do whatever it takes, but you really need to contact the authorities because 'cause I'm just a doctor who works a
Right.
night shift, and I need to be back here in 24 hours."
Right. And he's like, "Nah, nah, nah, but you're hot. You're hot."
Exactly.
And then the also, like, the woman who's semi-age appropriate who works in the hospital too, he's kinda just like, "Ah, I got a younger piece waiting out for me outside. I'll see you later." Like, he
Yeah,
just
like, just yeah.
he kisses her too though too. I'm just like, "Who is this guy? Who the fuck is this
Yeah,
guy, dude?"
yeah, yeah, I mean, there's some kinda cringe moments too, like, where were we? So they get to the hotel, and then they get a
Yeah.
hotel room.
That's when they hook up.
Yeah, but before that, he, like, asked her, like, "Do you want me to get another room for you?" And she's like, "No, I think they'll be suspicious." It's like, "Okay. Do you want me to sleep on the floor?" She's like, "No." It's like, "Okay, well, Tom Atkins jackpot," like
Yeah, 'cause what he says, like, "I could sleep in the car, it'd be better than the floor." She's like, "Where do you wanna sleep?" And he's like, "Well, I guess that's the door opening."
yeah, pretty much. It's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, this would never happen." Tom Atkins, he's probably so tired and drunk, like
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I just think it's funny how it's like multiple movies within a year or two of each other just has Tom Atkins just like
picking up
yeah,
25-year-old hitchhikers and, like,
right. Being an
"Let's
alcoholic.
go on going on an adventure," like, as an alcoholic, like, oh
Yeah.
god. I think I hey, can we bring him back for, like, another one with, like, a 25-year-old? I think I'd watch it just to see.
Now,
Just how old is he now? Like 80? He's gotta be like 80 something.
he was born in 1935. I looked it up, so
$85.
he'll be yeah, dude, he's fucking old. Dude, he's like 86.
Just have him like, oh my god.
They could do a sequel to this one now. I mean, they could if they really wanted to.
It's like, "I was there when all those kids died, but no one believed me. I spent 20 years in the asylum."
Oh my god. Well, yeah, because dude, the only really because I must have seen this on AMC a couple times when I was a kid, but the only thing I remember about this whole fucking movie is the ending, where he's just like, "Shut it off! Shut
Yeah,
it off!"
that's the only thing I remember.
Flipping out to shut it off, and then it just ends, and I was kinda like, "The fuck? The fuck is this?"
Yeah, it's not great. It's not I kinda wanted more, like I like how the guy who owns Silver Samurai, I think his name's Cochran, right? Is that it?
Yeah, yeah, he was good.
So yeah, he was really good, but, like, there's that, like, aha moment. It's like, "I got you captured and tied to this chair. Now I'm gonna tell you my big plan," and, like, tells him everything.
Yeah,
It's like, hopefully
yeah.
you don't escape, but
Ugh, so dumb, dude. Yeah, they that was like a James Bond moment where they, like, didn't put a guard in the room with him. He's not nearly securely tight enough. It's just like, this is just shoot him in the head. What are we doing here?
yeah, like Doctor Evil and, Scotty. It's like, "Dad, I have a gun in my room. He's gonna get out. Let me get the gun. We'll shoot him in the head. That's it." Like Austin Powers, remember? I
Dude,
love that
that's
line.
that's one of my
"Thanks,
favorite parts.
Dad."
Because then Doctor Evil just looks at him, he's
"You
like,
don't get it."
"You just don't get it, Scott. You just don't." Like, it's just so
"What do I get?" Like, oh, dude, it's so good. Yeah.
but that's what this felt like. I was like, they just tied him up, put on Halloween, put a mask on him, and then within 10 seconds, the camera's on him, and he's still dude, he whips the
Wait,
mask!
yes, yes, dude, the way he hits that, like, one shot, I'm like, "Get the
Come
heck
on,
no
dude.
way."
This motherfucker he has alcohol withdrawal shakes. There's no fucking way he's getting that in because here's the thing, even if he misses once, he's
He's done.
fucked.
Yeah, they'll see
And
him.
he's got enough of a wrist flick to make it all the way up to the camera, and on top of it
But that it lands it's like the bottle challenge, like, he just it
oh,
lands it perfectly with a mask opening, goes over the camera. Get
I mean,
outta
I laughed
here.
out loud.
We're gonna that I can't oh, so good.
Yeah. So then that happens, he immediately breaks out, then they're like, "Hey, I guess something's going with the camera. Let's wait until the Irish leader guy gets off the phone, and we'll tell him what's going on." And then by that point, he's able to somehow break the air conditioning door, crawl all the way in there. Oh man, yeah, it started losing me towards the end a lot, but
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but, like and then they show, like, this Stonehenge rock. It's like it's a giant rock. It's like that's like a piece of styrofoam, like a
yeah.
giant piece of styrofoam.
So, okay, all right. So what the hell is the point of all this then? I know he says like we're gonna sacrifice kids, or whatever, but
What they're bringing back an ancient Celtic ritual.
okay. Hold on.
But are they, like, resurrecting anything? Are they bringing
This is what doesn't really make sense to me. So they're saying it's like they have to sacrifice something to Samhain or whatever the Halloween gods or something like that. So if this was something that was ancient Celtic stuff, there's no radio, there's no television, there's no way to broadcast this to millions of people. So they must have been doing it differently back then.
well, they must have had everyone gather at Stonehenge, and
I guess, but like so okay, so they kill like a couple kids, sure. Then now they're like, hey, we have this new technology. Now we can do this. First of all, they're only gonna be able to affect America. There's no way that they're gonna be able to broadcast to other countries, maybe Canada or Mexico, but they're not reaching, like, India and China and stuff like that in 1982. That's just not happening. So the goal is to get as many kids essentially in North America to watch this commercial at 9 o'clock with the mask on, and then their heads turn into a snake, cockroach fucking mess. Like, is that
like,
basically it?
yeah, like, mush and maggots, yeah.
Yeah, and you need to have the kids wearing the mask at a certain time with this broadcast going to do that, and then what happens? Like, what?
And then they did it. Yay.
Right, but before 9 o'clock, that Cochrane guy just, like, looks at the Stonehenge rock and gets, like, absorbed into it. I'm assuming that's a good thing. I don't I'm we didn't beat him, and then all of
I
a
think
sudden
he dies.
you
Yeah.
think so?
Oh, he dies. That's him dying.
Oh, that seemed like he just, like, went back to his home planet or what.
I looked on Wikipedia because I had to, like, double check the plot and make sure, like, I didn't just, like, fall asleep and have weird dreams. It says he dies in Wikipedia, so
Huh. Yeah, because it's like a Raiders of the Lost Ark moment where it's just, like, these beams shoot into them, but it's not like his face melts, it's like he just kinda, like, disappears. So I was like, "Oh, he must have gone back to, like,
oh,
Celtic
maybe
world."
he got like, yeah, maybe that it worked and he got
Yeah.
what he wanted. It's like, "No, dude, they fried him."
Yeah, so that was, okay, so I guess he's dead, but then the ending essentially implies that it does work, and a lot of kids are gonna die. There's only 3 fucking channels, so let's say that he got it off of CBS and ABC, but NBC is still playing it, so it's like, well, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Cochrane himself is killed by the Stonehenge rune, so he dies.
That's
And then it
weird.
leads to a massive fire. Oh, here's a good line too. He flees through a ventilation duct and contacts his ex-wife to convince her to get rid of
Oh
the
my god.
children's mask. Could you imagine
Dude.
"Hey, hey, put down the bottle." Like, "Hey." He's like, "No, you gotta get those masks are bad. They're bad."
I'm so glad you brought that up, I forgot about that. First of all, the entire movie, the whole movie, he's just being a piece of shit to his ex-wife. So now he's calling her at, like, 9 o'clock. He's like, "Where are you? Where have you been?" He's like, "Listen, just don't let the kids wear the masks." And he's just like, "Okay, where are you?" And he's like, "Just trust me." She's like, "Alright, you're a fucking idiot." And it hangs up. It's like, yeah, that is what would happen. That is exactly what would happen.
Yeah, someone's like, "Take" and screaming at you, like, "Take the kid's mask off." It's like, your kids love these masks, and they're gonna
Yeah.
wear them. It's Halloween. It's something they're looking forward to, unlike hanging out with you.
You're right. It's like, "You're a drunk," and he's just like, "Ah!" And then, like, hangs up, runs. I love that dude. Dude, oh my god, when he crashes the car. Okay, so
Oh, okay, alright, here we go. Next scene.
yeah,
Next
so he thinks he escapes. So he grabs Ellie, and then Ellie and him get in the car. For some reason, she seems totally normal, and then they get in the car, and all of a sudden she's, like, staring at the wall, and he's like, "What's wrong with you, Ellie?"
He's probably thinking like, "We did it, me and the 25-year-old, like, we're gonna get out, we're gonna get another motel room, and I'll tell my wife, like, I'll pick up the kids on Tuesday." And
Right, on Tuesday. I need a long let's make this into a long weekend. Yeah, and then so she is a robot person and starts attacking him, and he crashes this, like, very heavy car, which probably would kill both of them, but sure, they're fine. He gets out, rips her head off, rips her arm off, and then we basically get, like, an Evil Dead kind of, like, spoof almost where every single body part keeps coming back alive and attacking him out of nowhere. Anyways, kills them, runs off into the middle of the woods. Like, you're like, where's this guy going? He's got 5 minutes before it's 9 o'clock and before this thing airs. He goes back to the gas station where the original attendant was, who he kind of dismissed at the hospital.
yeah, yeah, it was the same he's done the same thing the guy at the hospital did.
Yeah, and the guy is just like, "I know you," sort of thing. He's like, "Shut the fuck up." He's like, "Where's your phone?" And then I love that. So within seconds, he gets through to the program channeler of NBC or ABC or whatever, and it's like, "You gotta shut this off," and they just do it.
Yeah, that's like, no.
Eric, you work in television. How much money would it cost if you just randomly pulled an ad that these people had paid for at the last second for no good fucking
Well, I mean, to completely go black or go to bars and tone, like, you would need a head of a network to make that call,
Right.
Not Tom Atkins from a gas station at this time, half drunk.
Yeah, just be like, "You gotta shut it off. You gotta shut it
The
off."
head of the network needs to pull it. Like, it goes up like, "Hey, this is happening," like, someone just is, like, going off the rails on a news network, then it's like, "Pull the feed."
But they ask questions to him that make sense. They're like, "Well, do you have any proof?" He's like, "No, I don't have any proof. Just shut the fuck up and do it." And they're just like, "Well,
"Millions of kids are gonna die." It's like, "Millions of kids are gonna die."
hmm."
I don't want that on me. It's like, but I'm probably gonna lose my job now, like
Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, so that's Silver Shamrock paid money for that ad space. So like this company or NBC or whatever has to treat Silver Shamrock like they're fucking Coca-Cola or whatever. So they can't just be like, "Well, this one random drunk asshole is calling saying it's fucked, so I guess we'll pull it." No.
Yeah,
Insane.
it's a you're pulling the Silver Shamrock, big reveal, you know how much money's at stake? Like,
Right,
if
because
we pull the feed
they even say, like, they've been airing this commercial nonstop on the radio, on television, leading up to this moment, so, like, this is a big deal, you know? If they weren't an evil corporation, this is a big deal.
well, the only thing I can say is maybe those 2 channels were, like, local networks, and that was, like, the main national network, so maybe he did save some local network stuff there,
Mm, okay.
like, the local town stuff, but he's definitely that last channel is definitely national, and he's no shot. That's the only benefit of the doubt I'm gonna give that last scene.
It's possible, but they do show a lot they show the whole country, they go to LA, they go to New York, they go to Ohio, they go to all these different places, and they show kids in masks and stuff like that. So, yeah, maybe you're right, maybe it is the local stations, but still, the plan was the whole country.
It's a tough buy, you know? It's like, I don't know if that would happen.
Right, so it's like, "Oh, I saved my kids."
You know, I don't believe that, but I believe the Ellie Android turnaround time. Yeah, that made sense.
I will say though, Halloween's not afraid of killing kids. You gotta get and dogs, you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
There's not a lot like, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, they don't really kill kids and dogs, but Halloween, throughout its run, never really shies away from that. I mean, this one is a brutal way for a little kid to get their, like, head melted, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and then Michael's obviously killed kids too.
Yeah, and dogs. I mean, all the things that people don't wanna see killed. And then also, I thought they even though it was lame the way the lady was looking at the little chip or whatever and it shot into her mouth, I thought that her face looked awesome where it, like,
That was probably one of the better parts of the movie where I was like, "Whoa."
dude, I gotta say the kills are pretty good. Like, that one old guy in the suit who rips that fucking dude's head off, like, just
Dude, that was nuts. That was
I was like,
nuts.
"Whoa,
Whoa,
whoa."
that's some forearm strength right there. Well, because we don't know those guys are robots yet, so we're like, "Whoa, these guys are
Yeah.
strong."
So and also the Cochran guy reminded me of the, tall man from Phantasm, but just shorter.
A
A
little,
little
yeah. Yeah, like an
yeah.
Irish version.
This is definitely not a great movie, but, like,
It's anti-Irish. It's anti-Irish, this movie.
it's anti-Irish. As a person of Irish descent, I'm offended.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I will say though, I typed in Halloween Season of the Witch just to look this up. There's a pretty cool T-shirt that I would get. Honestly, it says it's got the Silver Shamrock like logo or whatever, and so like novelty baseball tees shirt. I kind of like it. I don't
That's
know.
kinda cool. Yeah,
It is
that's
cool.
not bad. I like the poster to this film as well. I think that the poster is
Oh
really
yeah.
probably one of the better things that came out of this movie.
Yeah, the poster's so misleading, dude, because it has this, like, scary ass face. It looks like, "Oh, that's the witch," and these little kids trick-or-treating under it. You're like, "Dude, this movie's gonna be scary." And
Yeah,
then
I kinda wish there was more. It went higher to another level and showed more, and, like, I just feel like it
yeah.
ended too early, and I like, it's Twilight Zone-y where it just, like, lets you to determine the ending.
Yeah, I mean, even though John Carpenter didn't write or direct this, a lot of his movies are like that. Like, They Live ends a lot like this, so
Very similar to They Live, yes.
yeah, so the poster yeah, dude, I gotta say, though, oh my god, that fucking pumpkin intro, what a slap in the face to, like, the first 2 movies.
Oh, where it's, like, building, in, like,
Like
16-bit or whatever.
It's like a computer generated, it looks like a I don't even know, like a ColecoVision or something, like, really old, but yeah, man, I hated that,
Yeah,
dude.
and it was long too. Building it's like, "Oh, they're building a pumpkin, that's what they're doing." Like, I figured it out, like, just move on.
Yeah, definitely.
One question to end this, which mask as a kid would you choose? Would you go
Hmm.
pumpkin, skull, or witch? I know what I would do. As a kid, I would have picked this.
Probably go Skull both
I would go
times.
pumpkin. Okay.
Oh, okay, look at us, look at
I'd go
us.
pumpkin.
Alright, so if we ever, this ever
Yeah.
happens,
Now we need a
we can do it.
witch.
Or if we ever get a chance to do what they did in the Twilight Zone movie and go back in time as kids, then we can know what we're gonna choose for Halloween.
Here we go. This is
Yeah,
why we do this.
this is why we do this. Alright, what do you say you spin the wheel, Eric?
Let's do that. Let's spin the wheel. Spinning. Ooh, the Wolfman.
Ooh, another Universal, sweet.
Long Chana Jr. Let's go.
Alright, so that one, yeah, dude, it's the 80th anniversary of that one this year too,
That's pretty cool.
1941.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for listening into our discussion on Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and we will see you tomorrow with 1941's The Wolfman.